Hello everyone, this is the sixth lesson and the last lesson in this module. The lesson 3, 4 and 5 in the module 5 are not there for the end of term exam. So I'm directly going to the sixth lesson, that is inverses of linear functions. Let's get into the learning objectives of this lesson. They are to construct the inverses of relations, find inverse of linear functions. The keywords are inverse relations, inverse functions. We will look into both of these and solve both the objectives in the coming problems. The first one is about relations. Now, you have a coordinate pair AB. I'm sure you might have found this lesson the easiest because this is among all the easiest of all because it's a simple method. Inverse functions might be, you have to follow a method, but the relation is so easy that you have to just swap them. Now, this is a coordinate pair A and B. You're just swapping whatever the position was for B, you're putting it instead of A, and A will go to the position of B. That's it. X becomes Y, Y becomes X. So now if you have a coordinate pair minus 8 and 12, it becomes 12 and minus 8. That's the inverse. That's it. And when we graph, you'll get the inverse function. I mean, when you graph, you get the graph of this given relation. Let's look in a problem. You'll understand how easy it is. We have to determine this inverse. All you need to realize is x, y, x, y, sorry, x, y, and x and y. This becomes yx. The inverse would be inverse would just change to yx, yx, and so on. So I'll just write the answer over here. It'll be 3 comma minus 8. That'll be the first relation. Second one would be 14 comma 0, 52 comma 11, and lastly we have minus 6 comma 12. This is the answer. That's it. So it is very straightforward. Each of these terms just swap. It becomes 3 and minus 8, 14 and 0, 52 and 11, and minus 6 and 12. This is the inverse relation for this given coordinates. Now we will look into the next one. Here you can just do it by yourselves. There's nothing much in it. So by now your guess it's going to be phi negative 1.4 for the first part. It's it's 0 1, it's the same thing, it's just 1.4, sorry for that. It's 6.5 and 1.3 minus 8, 3, 9, and 3.05. As straightforward as it can get. Next one over here, you have a table. Doesn't matter how it comes, it's the same procedure here. See, this is the x and this is the y. The inverse would be y first, that is 9 and minus 11. Sorry. And then the same thing, minus 2 comma 0.3, minus 8 comma minus 3, and lastly we would have 2 and 3.5. This is it. All you're doing is swapping it, and that's the answers. So first you need to understand this is minus 11 and 9, and swap it up. So this is it. Basically you're swapping x and y, and this is the inverse relation. And what if it's given as a graph? It's fine. Now this is the given graph, the black one. They have given the points as well. All you need to understand is the points. Where is these points positioned? Let's see. The first one is minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's minus 5x. Y minus because in the left side, that's why. And y, it's 1. This is minus, it's minus 1, sorry, minus 5 minus 1. What about this? It's minus 2 and 0. Here it would be 1 and 1, and lastly we would have 2, 4 and 2. These are the answers. So the inverse of these would be minus 1 comma minus 5. Next one would be 0 comma minus 2. 1 and 1 does not change. See, look at the inverse graph which is drawn. The point 1 will remain same as long as if it's 1 1 2 2 3 3. Even if you change it, it's going to be the same point. That's the reason. And last one, it's 2 and 4. These are the inverse relations over here. It's just that we are taking it from the graph and we're writing the inverse. So now x and y, 1 second. Uh, Let me just see what did I do wrong. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just this is the answer. This is the inverse graph. So we were given this one, okay? This point. Basically, can you see this blue graph? That is the question. I apologize because I got the graph of both of them. In fact, this blue graph is the question. This is the final answer. So I apologize for it. This, whatever I wrote, is the inverse graph. This is the given question, okay? So we need to just choose some points. It's up to you. But over here, you can see there are some points chosen. And you can see this is 1 point, that is -1 and -5 here. And then 0 and -2, 1 and 1. And lastly, we have 2 and 4. This is the given graph. Now, you just find the inverse. Swap them, which I've written over here. That's the inverse. So -1 comma -5 becomes -5 -1 and so on. So this is the inverse. It's just that when in your exam you will have only one graph, not two graphs. My bad, I took the wrong graph and I did the wrong thing. It's just that the whichever graph is given, just choose some of the points, okay, and then find the inverse of it. And now we will look into, that was about inverse relations where coordinate pairs were given. Now we will look into linear functions. Now, this is the steps which you need to follow. There are 4 steps. I will tell you in detail as I solve a problem because you might be confused if I just read them out to you. I'll tell you step by step as we solve a problem here. Now, we have been given this particular function f of x and we have been told to find the inverse. Step 1, all you need to do is wherever there is the f of x thing, put it as y because that is y. And then write it as it is f of x plus 1. That is step 1. Step 2 is to change the y and x because that is what we are doing, right? We are swapping wherever x is there as y becomes x. So that is what we will do. Now x equals 5y plus 10. This is the step 2. Now we have swapped. Now whatever this y, newly formed y, is the inverse function. So step 3 would be to solve for y. So you need to find y. So keep y at one side and everything else to the other side. So x minus 10 equals 5y. Let's take 5 to the other side. It's going to be x minus 10 divided by 5 equals y. Or you can write this as y equals x minus 10 by 5. I've just written y first and then the other terms, the second part. Okay, this is it. This is x minus 10. X minus 10 by 5. The last step, that is the answer, yes, but the last step, step 4, whatever y you find after doing the inverse is not exactly y because y is this given function. This y is the inverse function, so we write inverse f inverse x, that is equal to x minus 10 by 5. That is the final step and that is the final answer. You can see step by step. Here, the final answer is x minus 10 by 5, which is the f inverse of x. That's it. That is how we solve inverse. Let's do it again. I'll just quickly tell you over here. The step 1 is to just change this f of x to y. Write y over here. Next would be swapping x and y. And then the third step would be the finding the new y. That is the inverse. And then last step is replacing y as f inverse of x. This is the inverse function. Let's do another problem. See, this is it. Now over here, what they have done is they have done distributive property. X divided by 5 minus 10 by 5 would be minus 2. So this is basically x into 1 by 5 or x by 5 minus 2. Okay, or you can just leave it like this. It's fine. This is the answer. Here we have one more problem. We need to find this inverse. Let's quickly do it. Here again, it's very straightforward. All you do is instead of f of x, take it as y equals negative 2/3 x minus 8. Now swap this x and y, so it's becoming x equals negative 2 by 3y minus 8 instead of x. Now we have swapped. Sorry, instead of y we put x and instead of x we put y. Now solve for the new y. Since it's negative 2 by 3, I'll take this to the other side. Or you can, yeah, it's better we just take it directly. It'll be 2/3 y, and this x I'll take it to the other side, equals minus x minus 8. Take the 3 to the other side and 2 to the other side. It's gonna be multiply both the sides by 3 by 2, okay? 3 by 2 into minus x minus 8. Or what we can do is we can take this minus sign common out. It'll be minus 3 of x plus 8 divided by 2. Why? Because I took the minus sign common out. If I multiply this minus inside the bracket, it's going to be minus 6 minus 8. So it's balanced. Now that is the inverse. F inverse of x equals negative 3 of x plus 8 divided by 2. And that's the answer. Let's quickly see the answer. Okay, it's more simplified. But you can see it's negative 3 by 2, x plus 8. That is the F inverse as well. Now I'll tell you what is done. They have just simplified it further. How? It's basically multiplying the minus 3 inside this brackets. Okay, over here you could have simplified, which I should have done, but anyways, now I'll do it. It'll be minus 3x minus 8 times 3 is 24 divided by 2. Now split this 2 to both of them. It'll be minus 3 by 2x minus 24 by 2 will be 12. So the answer, final answer would be minus 3 by 2x minus 12. That is the F inverse of x. This is just simple simplification. Now from this step itself, you could have done the distributive property, multiplying 3 by 2 here, it will be minus 3 by 2x, and 3 by 2 times minus 8 would be minus 12. So from here, we could have directly come here, but anyways, I just did the other way, and then I came back over here. So this is the inverse function. You can see it, minus 3 by 2x minus 12 is the inverse. Yeah, that's it. So this is the given function. The inverse of this given function is this. Now we have real world problem. Here, Skylar and Carmen rent a paddle boat at a state park for $15 plus $4 for each hour it is used. The function c of x equals f of x plus 15 represents the total cost c of x for x hours. Now you can see the initial amount of money they are paid to do the paddling, the boat paddle, is $15. Then if you spend more than 1 hour, for each hour you need to pay $4. So 4x. Each hour 4x. This is the slope. Now here we need to find the inverse of this. Okay, the total cost c of x is this is c of x is the total cost and x is number of hours, right? We will find the inverse. Now before we do this inverse, what happens when you do inverse? This swaps. Don't you agree? What happens is it swaps in the sense the inverse you find, right? C inverse of x equals something, it'll be there. Now you can see the inverse would be it'll be x minus 15 by 4, I believe, something like this, because inverse basically means opposite sign. So think about only x, focus on this x. Next term is plus, it becomes minus 15. This is multiplying, it'll become division 4. Okay, because multiplying inverse is division. So something like this. Now in this inverse function, I'm not sure, but I think so this is the answer. But here, now inverse function c inverse x means what? It's the hours, and over here this x is the cost. The total cost is x. In the inverse function, it swaps, okay? Because inverse is basically we're swapping x and y. But now we will do the inverse function in detail here. I'll just do it over here. So we know this is y equals 4x plus 15. And now we will swap x and y. X equals 4x minus 15. Now it goes to the other side. X plus, sorry, this is plus here. This is plus 15. It becomes x minus 15 equals 4x. And take the 4 to the other side. It becomes x minus 15 by 4 equals, I have done few blunders. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I'm just correcting them. Y becomes x and x becomes y here. And this is 4y. So y equals x minus 15 by 4. You can see over here, This plus x plus 15 becomes x minus 15. Multiplying 4 becomes division 4. That's it. That's the inverse basically. Every time it will work. But it's better to do this method because if it's square root and stuff, it's a bit hard to directly write it. That's why we need to do this. Now here, let me write y is f inverse of x, that is equal to x minus 15 divided by 4. That's the answer. That's it. They have asked. That's the part A. We have done the inverse function. Okay, x minus 15 by 4. Now interpret the inverse function. Okay, interpretation what I just told. See now what is the x? X is the total cost of renting the parallel and x inverse is the number of hours. See over here given was total cost was c of x, right? And x is hours. Now it's swapped. X is the total cost and c inverse of x is the hours. It's just swapped, okay? The inverse function. Now this is important. Evaluate using the inverse function. Skylar and Carmen asked $35 to rent the paddle boat. Okay, now how long can they rent it? They have given you the total cost. See, the cost is how much? $35. Now, in this inverse function, what is the cost? It's not c of x, it's c inverse now. So, whatever was x becomes, whatever this was there becomes x now is the cost. Basically, in the inverse function now, the total cost they have is 35 minus 15 by 4. And we know this function is now hours. We will find total number of hours now. It is basically 35. X is 35. 35 minus 15 is 20 by 4. It is 5. So they have $35 with them, right? So a maximum of 5 hours can be spent by them because $15 is the initial amount they have to pay. So they will be remaining with only $20. And 20 by 4, because each hour it's $4, they can go maximum up to 5 hours. That's what it means. So maximum 5 hours. That's the answer. Now we will do the next problem. It's same like that. It's Harvey, J-A-V-I, but generally it's pronounced as H, Harvey. Harvey is making candles to sell at an upcoming festival. He has already made 38 candles and he makes 24 candles each day. The function c of x equals 24x plus 38 represents the total number of candles. C of x, he has an inventory where x is the number of days since he began making more candles. Okay, it's just about just the detail of the function, how many candles he has and everything. And this is the thing. Now, Harvey, now the reason I know this pronunciation is back in Ireland, Galway, there was a friend of mine. His name was Harvey. And I used to call him Javi, and he had corrected me initially. He was from Spain, I believe. Yeah, Spain. So the thing is, J is generally pronounced as H over there. That's why it's Harvey. Now back here, part A, select the inverse of the function. Now looking at this, you can find the inverse. Basically, it would be x minus 19 divided by 24. Now, if you simplify, this is the answer. Yes. Now I will tell you how. Let me do it over here. C of x is y, that is equal to 24x plus 38. And now we here x swap them. X is equal to 24y plus 38. And now we need to solve for y. So take everything to the other side. X minus 38 divided by 24 equals y. I'm directly doing it because I'm sure by now you must be well versed with it. Now divided, split it, x by 24 minus 38 by 24. 38 by 24, 2 table goes in both of them, it's 19 here and 12 here, so it will be minus 19 by 12. That is inverse function, f inverse of x. Sorry, I should write c inverse of x over here, but yeah, it's c inverse of x anyways. As long as you understand, that's fine. So this is the function, it's the A, option A. Now the second part is important. Estimate the amount of time it would take Harvey to make 350 candles. It would take Harvey between dash and dash to make 350 candles. Okay. Now, how do you find this? Here, C of x is the total number of candles. What was the total number of candles? C of x. In this function, x will be that. Whatever was C of x in this function, x. So the total, how many candles needs to be made? 350. So just substitute x as 350. That's it. So here what I'll do, C inverse of x, that is 350 here, would be 350 by 24 minus 19 by 12, and just put in the calculator. To save time, I'm going to use the calculator here. All you do is just substitute 350 divided by 24 minus 19 divided by 12, and the answer is 13. Now, since they have given a range, let me just check the answer here. The first A was correct, and here it's 10 and 15. We got the answer 13, but yes, it falls inside the range. Now, you also can check it over here. If you multiply x as 13, it would be, number of candle will be 350. So that's it. So whatever they give over here, x value, you can see in the given question they'll mention what is x and c of x. In the inverse function, it swaps. So the c inverse of x is number of days, number of days required, and x would be the number of candles. So x was given this number of candles, substitute over here in this x, and you will get the answer. That was 13 we got, but since it's a range, I think so you can you have to select the closest values, and that's 10 to 15. Okay, but the exact value if they ask is 13 days, it will require him 13 days. So that's how we do it, and that's the end of this lesson. It's another short lesson, it's an easy lesson over here. The previous lesson was a bit lengthy, many example problems. This is a very short one and very easy lesson. So please make sure you solve more problems, write and solve it, so you'll be well versed with this topic. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you very soon. Thank you guys, and thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the subscribers. I appreciate it. And if you have still not subscribed, do try clicking the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.